Some would call it swag, some call it cockiness, some would call it being a diva. When you're good, it's not bragging. And elite wide receivers and the confidence they exude often permeates an entire team, and we're going to see a couple of examples of that in this one. Welcome to the home of the Florida Gators, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, better known as the Swamp. As we'll see a squad from the Big Ten, the Indiana Hoosiers, taking on the 15th ranked team in the land, the Florida Gators. For EA Sports, I'm Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollack with me. Guys, can't wait to get this started. And the Gators will boot it away to start the game. On the move from inside is 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. This is what we expected. This crowd ready to make its presence known. Dropping back, it's Mendoza. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. This crowd bringing the energy and noise early. And back to the air on second down. Makes the grab. It's Morris. Just what they were looking for to get this drive rolling. They're out to the 35.
The defense needs to have a plan for this guy. They weren't ready for that one. Drag route running all the way across the field. And the DB just can't stay with him because of his speed. And as a result, they give up a big one.
Ball is at the 35. It's 1st and 10. Power football with the run. Got enough for the first down and wants more. And the defense finally makes the stop after the sweet run and good gain. To call what Indiana did last year a renaissance is an insult to all renaissances everywhere. It was complete resurrection. The losing program that got 11 wins and went to the playoffs.
Coach Cignetti has just galvanized this entire program. And all of a sudden, after only 1 year, the expectations are different. Could it ever happen, David? Could this team get back to the playoff again?
It was one of the biggest stories in college football. Everybody kept talking about, does Indiana deserve to be there? And now another year further down the road, going to the transfer portal again, not having the new coach with the connection to JMU, this Indiana team can still be fun to watch and still prove a lot of people wrong.
Ripping off a good chunk inside the 25, and they're set up with a first down.
When you go on the road, man, oh man, you love hearing the crowd, but more importantly, you love shutting the crowd up. There's no better feeling than coming out, getting that juice going, getting that confidence going, and getting that running game going right at them and gashing them right out the gates.
He rolls all the way down to the 5-yard line before they finally get him stopped.
I'm amazed by this offense. This is how you set the tone for a game. Running, throwing on the opening drive, driving it right down the field. You just run to set yourself up now in 1st and goal. They are feeling it.
The Hoosiers have it in scoring position on 1st and goal. Back to throw, it's Mendoza. He works his way ever closer all the way down to the 1-yard line.
I really like the play by the quarterback. Very, very smart. Listen, early in the downs, goal-to-go situation. Drop back. If you don't see it right away, tuck it and get positive yards. Make that next down easier so I can try to get a little bit closer to the goal line and I can get that touchdown. Headsy play by the QB.
These fans raising the volume on 2nd and goal. The quarterback sneak, looking to eke out a few yards. And I don't think he got in. Those big bodies up front just creating a wall at the goal line. throw it. He's got him in the flat. He did not make it a stone wall on third down.
Third down is money down. You got to find a way to execute and get the ball out, get it to your playmakers. That was the opposite of that. They got it to their playmakers, and they got absolutely nowhere. Lost yards on the play. Fourth down now upcoming.
Here's the snap, looking to throw. They got him! It's a sack! Took a chance to try to score the touchdown, and they'll get nothing.
Hey, you come out early in the game, you're trying to send a message to your team that you're confident, you believe in them to convert these fourth downs. You didn't get that one, but don't let it be a detriment moving forward. If you want to stay aggressive, be that way throughout the course of the game.
To the air, it's Lagway. With the catch, it's Daniels. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. Well, he comes up with the reception, but not a lot of room to run after that.
Yeah, and I like the QB doing this. I mean, I'm going to find ways to give him the football and see if he can make a miss. And I'm going to bet most of the time that my guy is a little bit more athletic than that defensive guy.
Looking deep down the right side. Snags it up to 30 and still running. He's loose down the middle. Touchdown, Gator. And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing.
And what nice play design. You get your speedster, you put him in the slot, usually get a better matchup, and then what do? You fade him towards that sideline, run a go. Nice ball thrown way out wide. He just runs underneath it, and just too much speed. Couldn't catch him. Gets in the end zone for 6.
And he's got the extra point, and it's 7-0 to start this one. This offense prides itself on going after you, and they did with that long touchdown pass to finish off a 2-play drive. On the run from inside his own 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. They'd love to put a long drive together here as they start from their own 21. Here's the handoff. Stacked up after gaining a couple to the 23.
That's a really good job by the defense, wrapping them up, getting them on the ground, take away that run game, make them one-dimensional, put them in passing situations. Really good job by the defense.
Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. He lofts one down the sideline. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch.
Well, on defense, they know that this offense is going to try and take shots. They're going to try and keep their secondary players in a position to make these types of plays. Good job on the back end forcing that incompletion.
Wants to throw. It's Mendoza. With the catch, it's Cooper. He gets it oh so close to the first down marker, but I think he's going to be a touch short. Timeout call by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll make some adjustments. They're in their own territory, but they are undeterred. 4th and inches, and they'll go for it. They'll run for it. He's not going to get there. Stop short on 4th down.
Man, first half being that aggressive on your side of the field, that's a different world. Like, you live in the analytics world, and I know people say go for it more often. I don't see the point in going for it on that one early in the game in that situation.
Caught in the backfield, it's Jackson. Quick throw, but he's not going anywhere. The defense was all over it.
Nice job by this defense creating that negative play. That's what all defenses want to do. But look at this. This offense, they ain't scared. Right back on the ball, ready to run another play, ready to make this defense work.
Makes the catch. It's Wilson. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the first down.
So it's 3rd and long, and this quarterback right now has got to be expecting pressure. So you want to know where your hot routes are. You got to know where your best one-on-one matchup is. But understand this. We're still in the first half. If the defense gets you, tip of the cap, you can take a sack. Punting the football at this stage of the game is okay.
They'll try to get something out of this drive and kick the field goal here on 4th down. This one will be a 43-yard field goal attempt from the left hash. He splits the uprights. And now the lead is even bigger. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
A lot of eyeballs on your game, guys, and a few on this interesting matchup as well. Old Dominion is in front. They've controlled the line of scrimmage today.
And the ball's free, deep in his own territory. How in the world did the offense retain possession?
That's a breathing a sigh of relief for sure. Kick returner tries to take it out, puts it on the ground, but how about the offense getting back on it, turning what could have been a really bad play into, thank goodness I got the ball.
Hit hard just as he released it on 1st down and just couldn't get it to the receiver.
Yeah, I don't know if the quarterback got confused on 1st down. He might have thought the defense was going to be in man coverage that time, but they were in zone. They fooled him and just didn't seem like he had his eyes in the right place, was forcing that ball to his intended target. The window way too small. The guy was not open, so that didn't have that chance to be complete.
From the gun, to give, looking for room. Pass the sticks and still on his feet. Gets him on the ground at the 31, but a nice pickup of 15 yards there.
This running back loves running into the teeth of the defense. In between the tackles, he keeps a low pad level, and he's got some speed.
Fires to the wideout. Got it in the middle. It's Morris. They bring him down, but the big play will move the sticks.
Well, Reese, you and I were talking about this before the game. How is this defense going to be able to deal with all the speed they have offensively? You saw them just rip off a big play.
And, Jesse, now their head's spinning just a little bit. Give up a big chunk play, and it's right back at him. Finds his man. It's Hemby. He stopped at the 32, picks up 10 on the play, and gets the 1st down.
You know, it's a nice throw by the QB there. When you're throwing to running backs, you got to make it easy on them. So you want to put it right on their body, make the catch simple, and let them go to work like they did just there, getting that 1st.
As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. Looking downfield, it's Mendoza. They'll run the screen. They stop him just a link or two short of the 1st, and man, what they can do on 2nd down here. And the Hoosiers come to the line. This situation, you might see a shot play. Wants to throw again. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
This offensive line's got to do a better job. I mean, he doesn't even have time to go through his progressions. You got to give your QB some time. You got to make him feel comfortable. They didn't. They got in there quick, fast, and in a hurry.
He's looking to throw on 3rd and short. Caught near the sticks. It's Hemby. He's got enough. It'll be a 1st down. They've got it at the 12.
Well, it wasn't a great start for this quarterback, but on this drive, he seems to be turning the corner. He just looks like he's playing in a different rhythm. He's seeing the field better. It's almost as if the game is starting to slow down for him. And I think on that last completion, it was a good example of that.
Pressure coming. They'll get it down to the 10-yard line on that completion.
Nice job by the defense staying glued to him. Getting him on the ground as soon as he catches the football. Knowing he's a threat. I'm not going to let this guy get out of my sights. Nice job by the defense.
Going to work in the red zone. They can't pick up the 1st down without getting it into the end zone. Going for 6. Touchdown, Hoosiers! Fitted in the window for the score.
One of the the areas they really focused on with this receiver in the offseason was, we need you to make more plays for us in the end zone. When we're taking shots, we need you to be able to step up and make tough catches. And David, what a grab right there.
And I think a lot of that has to do with trusting your guy, knowing where he's going to be, knowing when he's going to sit down, when he's not. So being on the same page, and then having a guy that can go get it. Just when the ball is near him, he's going to make the play, just like he did right there for 6 points.
Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. This drive will start from the 19-yard line. Scanning the field, it's Lagway. It's complete to the right. Turning it on! He'll get it up to about the 32-yard line before he stopped, and it'll be first down. Few teams improved over the second half of last season as much as Florida. And Jesse, the biggest reason, the play of the young quarterback, DJ Lagway.
He was just unflappable a year ago, Reese, as a true freshman. You saw that on the field, but even in my time sitting down and meeting with him, he just has a poise and a demeanor and a confidence that you don't see very often in college. This is a different type of dude, and they're expecting him to take the next level. And with that, this program carrying it on their shoulders.
Can't get him to the ground. He had all kinds of company as soon as he got it. He had to fight his way back just to get to the line of scrimmage.
And great recognition by the corner. That touch pass after he throws at the quarterback, it's a pass. He can't throw it forward again. Nice job understanding that, flying up, coming and making the big tackle.
Pressure all over the quarterback, and down he goes at the 24.
Really good play by this defense, and you know exactly what you're getting with this guy. Man, he is electric. He is dynamic. He'll make plays, so you got to do a good job of containing him in the pocket. And when he starts to scramble, chase from one side. Don't overlap with another guy. Nice job by the defense.
Coverage team able to put a stop to that return at the 42-yard line. They'll start this drive from the 42. Wants to throw on first down. The short hands, it's Hemby. Stopped after a good pickup, and he'll be just a tad short of the first down.
Well, you haven't seen a lot of incompletions from this guy now in his last 2 games out. Completed over 70% of his throws last week. He's doing it again in this game. As a head coach, you got to love the fact that your quarterback is dialed in.
Looking for a man, it's Mendoza. Got his man quickly. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a first down.
You got to give the O-line a lot of credit there because it gave the receiver time to work all the way across the field on the drag route against zone coverage. Quarterback gets it to him. He's able to turn it up and get a first down.
And a good, solid pickup before the defense cuts him down.
It's going to be important this offensive line is able to get a little bit of push and just got to give this guy an inch, a little crease, and he can make yards for him.
There on first down, it's 2nd and 5. Back to the ground with the running back. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
And man, the big fellas up front, they don't get a lot of credit. They don't get talked about a lot unless it's negative, but they're the big component, man. They've got to get some push, to get some running lanes, get this running game going. They're the ones that make it go.
He's going to look for a man on 3rd and short. And they can't hook up on the big play, and that brings up a 4th down.
Well, But you see them there taking the shot. I think the thought process is look, we've had so much success early in this game running the football. Let's see if we can now take advantage of the defense throwing the ball over their head. They're going to be expecting run. Safeties and linebackers are all going to be playing downhill trying to stop that. If we get the one-on-one opportunities to the outside, we have got to take shots. That one fell incomplete, but they should keep trying this as the game goes on.
It's incomplete, and the defense makes the stop and gets the football back.
That is a great job by this defense, coming up big on 4th down when it matters the most. You could tell they were dialed in. They knew they were going to throw the football. The defense was locked in on the quarterback. Great job defending the pass, forcing the incompletion on 4th down.
They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's out to the 43.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
Wide receiver going in motion. Hands it off. This time the defense was ready, and they stop him in his tracks.
Awesome job up front by this defensive line, being so good at the point of attack and eating blocks, eating some double teams that allows these linebackers to run free, unencumbered, and get to the football.
Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down.
One thing this defense always talks about is getting off the field. Last drive, they forced a punt. Here on 3rd down, what a great job flying to the football, getting a hit, forcing an incompletion. They may be jogging off here soon again.
The offense in its own end, still needing a couple of yards for the 1st down, but they'll stay out there and go for it on 4th. He'll loft one deep down the left side. Hauls it in easily enough for the 1st down. And they finally make the tackle, but this will be a pretty easy conversion for this offense. And that big gainer on the last one has them threatening from inside the 10. Back to pass, it's Lagway. Got it behind the line, it's Wilson. Trying to hit him with a quick game on 1st down, and nothing doing there. Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Back to throw, time running short in the half. Bag's got it. That completion will take it inside the 4, and the offense is threatening.
I like the aggressiveness by this defense. You've got to play tight on the wide receivers. There's not a lot of space on the field. You've got to be aggressive, and you've got to make tackles.
They've already squandered a couple of chances to score touchdowns in the red zone, and now another opportunity. It's 3rd and goal. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and 3rd and short, they choose not to run, throw the football, and I think a lot of that has to do with they know they're in field goal range. They can take the 3 points on the board.
Now on 4th down, they'll try to come away with 3. Offense calls a timeout here. Critically important to make sure they have the right play called and everyone on the same page here. And this defense has a chance to make a big stop on 4th and goal from the 4. Oh, they're after him. And he'll race it to the house. Touchdown, Florida.
You know, there's so many coaches out there in 2-minute situations at the end of the half with a lead that'll just be happy taking the lead into halftime. This guy's staying aggressive, though. Pedal to the metal, David, and you saw it paid off there for the touchdown.
Yeah, and let's finish this half now. Now, we got a nice lead. Built a little bit of a lead, but the defense has to go back out there. There's still a little bit of time. So get that stop to keep that momentum you just got, and everybody will be jacked up at halftime.
So they got the touchdown, now going to put it in the hands of their defense to finish off this half. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. So let's see how they play it in this final 30 seconds of the first half. Looking to throw, it's Mendoza. Trying to get behind the defense. Snags it down the right side. And he was off to the races. Finally tripped up at the 36. Here's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the first half. They don't seem interested in inching the ball down the field. That big play sets him up. 1st and 10 from the 36. Looking downfield on 1st down. Looking to the big tight end. And it's an incomplete pass over the middle.
And when you're a quarterback, man, I know wide receivers are great athletes and they're supposed to catch everything that gets near them, but when you don't put it right on the center, when they're running a lot of times, it just makes it a little bit more difficult. And I think he did that a little bit too much for his wide receiver right there.
Wants to throw. He's working against the clock. Here's the pressure. He's picked off and he's thrown a dozen of them. Bringing it back. He's inside the 40.
That's how you got to give the defense credit, though, because with these conditions, it's not easy to catch for the offensive players. Certainly not for the defense, but great eye-hand coordination securing that interception.
And in the final seconds of the first half, they'll send out the field goal unit. Well, they've already made one. The holder will put it down at the 38 for a 48-yard attempt. And that is no good. Lead is still at double digits, but missed a chance to make it bigger. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update. The Hoosiers will boot it away to start the second half. Fielded in the end zone. It's Brown. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. They'll start this drive from the 18-yard line. Back to throw. It's Lagway. Quarterback moving out of the pocket. Grabbed in the backfield. It's Livingston.
Nice job by the quarterback knowing where his answer was against the blitz and against man coverage, picking up that completion.
Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. Wants to go up top. Nothing doing downfield. He'll cut his losses and throw it away. It'll be 3rd down.
A nice job by the quarterback there. You're outside the pocket. Nobody's open, so you throw the ball away knowing that you still have more chances to get this 1st down.
They couldn't connect on 2nd down. Now staring at a 3rd and 9. From the gun. Wants to pass. Fires to the big fella. He stopped right at the 22, and that'll bring us to 4th down. The Gators will bring the punt team onto the field. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Just needs a crack to get a return. He'll get it up to about the 44-yard line before they slam the brakes on it. They'll open this drive and snap it from the 44. Quick handoff. And he's very fortunate to get it back to the line of scrimmage, greeted by a sea of defenders.
you got to have that defense you know you can go to in running situations. Your base defense where you say, okay, this is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to stop the run, stuff it up front. My guys play big up front. And if I need to add some blitzes to it later on down the road, I can. A great job in the base defense making a play.
Looking downfield, it's Mendoza. That's caught. It's Williams. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain.
Really nice job by the quarterback, dropping back, understanding. He knew his wide receiver was going to drag across the middle of the field. Good timing, waiting for him to come open, hitting him with the strike.
The noise is deafening, trying to make sure only the Gators get out of the swamp on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Pocket breaking down. And he was hit just as he released it, and it falls to the turf.
And you thought maybe in the second half this offense could just find a rhythm, find something to take advantage of this defense, but the defense has really had their number, not putting up a lot of points, and again, an empty possession right there.
Fields the punt. Wants to make a play. He gets it up to the 34-yard line before he stopped, and that's where the offense will set up shop. This drive will get underway from just inside the 35 at their own 34. A run for the quarterback. Crosses the 45. Did the work himself. Turns it on down the left side. Touchdown, Gator! And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing.
And with that drive, you start to get excited. You start to think about the bounce back from a week ago. Went on the road, tough loss. You get to come back home. And this team has really been a different team today. Nice performance after a heartbreaking loss last week.
And he made that extra point, the wet turf, no problem at all. They're ready to kick it away, and this crowd is buzzing after that last score. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. We'll see what they can do on this drive that starts at the 16-yard line. To the air, it's Mendoza. Lofts one high and deep. Pulls it in on the right. Here he goes. He's at the 10. And he'll take it to the house. He got loose. Touchdown, Indiana!
If I'm a play caller nowadays, man, I want more guys like this. Just versatility. You can see he can catch it out of the backfield like a wide receiver, or he can run it. Nice job catching the football with his hands, using his speed to do the rest and get into the end zone.
And the extra point is good, but they're still down 24-14. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Interesting showdown in the Pac-12 today, men. Take a look at how things are playing out. TCU is running away with this one, thanks to an offense that hasn't been stopped since that group stepped off the bus. They're up by 28 over Kentucky. If anything else happens in this one in the Pac-12 or anywhere else, we'll make sure you know about it. Back to you guys.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. A little bit backed up to start this drive from their own 18-yard line. Back in motion, try to clear the picture. They'll run the option. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender.
When you play the option and you play this responsibility football, sometimes your eyes can get lost. They didn't on that play. Nice job honing in, getting in there quickly, getting the quarterback to the ground.
Making side adjustments here. To throw, it's Lagway. Quarterback floating away from pressure. Lets it fly. Right through his hands and incomplete, and he'll want that one back. It'll be 3rd down.
And in this weather, man, you start to see more of this. You try to throw the ball harder to penetrate it through the weather and get it to your target, but just catching a football that's a little bit slippery sometimes, you'll see some of those drops, and it's just part of the game.
Sends it back in motion. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. He'll try to take it back. He's at the 40. He's at the 20. Touchdown, Hoosiers! How about this defense taking one back to the house?
How about a game-changing play for this defense? Stepping in front of the football and knowing what to do with it, taking it all the way to the end zone.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And the PAT will draw them 1 point closer. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. He'll bring it back looking for help. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. They come to the line for the first play of the drive, snapping it from the 21. They'll move the wide receiver. From the gun, running back on the move. Gets it out to the 25-yard line, a gain of 3.
You know, as a defense, you kind of want to force the give on the RPO. You want them to run the football, and you can tell maybe the quarterback wishes he pulled this. Small gain, but some information you gathered maybe for the next time you get to run an RPO.
Hard running there. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few. The Gators moving quickly to the line. The option look. He'll toss it. That's not quite going to be enough as they stop him 4 yards short of the marker. So the offense is going to go for it on 4th down. Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll go to the sideline and try to make adjustments. And the Gators will try to pick it up on 4th down. He wants to change this route. On 4th down, he'll try to toss it. Makes a catch. First down and maybe a lot more. Touchdown, Florida! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house.
I know it's early this year, but it's obvious this guy is a focal point in this offense. After having 2 touchdowns in his first game, he gets on the board here. It doesn't matter where he lines up. They find ways to get him the football, and defenses just have not been able to figure him out.
And with the extra point, they're now up by a touchdown and a field goal at 10. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Looking to throw, it's Mendoza. Working that left side now.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly. That's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm.
Second down, they'll go to the air. Under fire. Pulls it in. It's Cooper. Gets it up to the 35-yard line before going out of bounds. And this guy stood in the pocket, and he took one right in the kisser and still delivered the ball.
Showed you his toughness there, Reese, didn't he? And he still had to be accurate with that throw because that was man coverage. You really had to do a good job making sure that football was put on his target.
Wants to throw on third down. And the incomplete pass will bring up fourth down. They're in their own territory, but they only need a few inches, and this is why you have a prominent jawline and an urgent resolve. They'll go for it. On fourth down, they're taking to the air. He's got it. First down and more. Breaks into the open. Touchdown, Indiana! He got a step and just dusted the field.
And how nice is it to have a playmaker like that I can get the ball out of my hands right to him and say, all right, dude, you got jets, you can fly, catch the slant, make some people miss, outrun some angles, and get all the way to the end zone.
And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half.
Timeout, Florida. Let's go. Break. Go, go. Here we go. Set.
He'll pull it on the read. They finally get a hold of him, knocking him down behind the line of scrimmage. He had been running wild. Now, this Hoosier defense had a complete 180. They went from 101st in points allowed to 6th in just 1 year's time, thanks to new scheme, new staff, new players. David, how rare is a turnaround like this?
It's extremely rare, but the system was good because the coach came with them, right? They brought a bunch of guys from JMU, and Kamara, having a guy that was top 5 in the Big Ten in sacks right away, that they played the run, they were physical, they played hard, they played beyond expectations. Looking forward to this season now.
They've got it at the 37. It's 1st and 10. Use the play fake. Now to throw. Looking to the big tight end. Got his man. And there was lots of space as he gets it to the 39-yard line.
I know it's something we take for granted, guys, but Q did a great job there with the play-action fake. He really took his time and sold it. And that's what froze the linebackers in the second level of the defense to help make that completion a whole lot easier.
Time winding down in the quarter as they come to the line. Off play action. Steps away. On the run, deep down the right side. Fires the pass. Intercepted. He'll go out of bounds, but just what they needed to get the ball back. Here comes the fourth. Time to see who steps up, who makes the winning plays to take home that W. They go back to work in the final period of this one. Keeping it on the ground with the running back. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
If you're going to stop the run game, you better be physical up front on the defensive line. They've got some maulers. They've got some dudes with bad intentions. Nice play there.
Looking for a man. It's Mendoza. Going for the big play. He's got it.
Second down pass. Complete to Myers. Gain of 26.
Man, if I'm a defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
This offense absolutely humming as they come to the line again. Wants to go up top on first down. Throws to the wideout. Oh, and he just dropped it so close to his second interception of the game. Instead, it'll be second down.
And man, did the defense just miss an opportunity that they could have turned the lights out with the lead, get the football back here. Missed opportunity. Maybe this offense now can take advantage and swing some momentum in this football game.
And he was drilled just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
Man, it's easy to play defense when you can do this. When you can get to the quarterback quick and make him make a decision quick, it makes it easier for the secondary, for the linebackers, for everybody on the field.
These men stepping up to help this defense on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Makes the grab. It's Morris. He's into enemy territory and out of bounds at the 47. And Jesse, he just keeps piling up numbers over 350 yards for the game.
And I feel like from the get-go, Reese, this guy's just been in a great rhythm all game long. He just seems like he's dialed in, and man, he's been active throwing around.
And that run really didn't go anywhere. And a lot of times we don't focus on it enough. But how important those 5 guys are up front. To get on those defensive linemen, to try to move them out of the way, to get a run game going, it squarely falls on the shoulder of those 5 offensive linemen.
Just not quite. To make the connection, it's incomplete.
All right, that's a good result for the defense. We knew coming into this year they wanted to really improve their pass defense and their secondary and coverage. Nice job there.
A touch out of field goal range. They need to pick up yards quickly on third down. Wilson will throw. Pulls it in. It's Morris. They'll make the stop about 3 yards short of the first down. It's a one-score game late, and they've got to go for it on fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Oh, he dropped it. He just lost his concentration and didn't look it all the way in. Desperately wanted to keep the ball, but they did not. First snap of this drive comes from their own 41. Looking to throw on first down. Now adjusting. He'll pull it down and run. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
Well, just nowhere to go there. It started in the pocket. It was collapsing. Quarterback felt it, so he tried to get outside, make something happen himself, but give the defense tons of credit. Excellent job in pursuit. They're able to give up no gain.
Gonna swing it on second down. Got a man. It's Sturdivant. And a good job of coverage by that defense. Just a short pickup.
I like the decision by the quarterback here. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it to your playmaker. A lot of times he'll dance and make even bigger plays than he did here, but it was still a positive game.
This defense will try to force a fourth down on third and short from the 45. The give and tick, 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 tick. There he goes. They'll make the stop about a yard short of the first down. How good has this offense been on fourth down, converting all 3 times, and they're lining up to go for it again. Quarterback may change this route. On fourth down, they'll try to throw it. And they get to him and sack the quarterback, and they'll stop the drive on downs.
The idea to go for it there on 4th down, you're basically at midfield, and you've got confidence in your guys to be able to go out. You've got experience in this offense. Guys have made these types of plays before. That time, the defense stepped up, they bowed up, and made a better play and take over. Now you need your defense to get on the field in a sudden change situation and get you the football back.
And they are finding some space in this defense. He's got it down to the 25.
I love the play call by the offense here running the ball. The score is what it is right now. You don't have to panic. You don't have to throw it every single down. You don't have to go up tempo. Just run your stuff. Be balanced. Run the football. Make sure this defense stays honest.
And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, they're trying to run the football there, just nowhere to go. They got dominated up front at the point of attack.
Dropping back, it's Mendoza. Unloads to the wideout. It's picked off. 13th time he's done that this year. Got some room to run. Ripping through the defense. After making the interception, he took it all the way back and sets up his offense at the 17-yard line. About the only good thing that happened for the offense on that play, at least it wasn't a pick six. What a return.
Yeah, that didn't look good for the offense. You know all those big fellas, those old linemen, they're not going to be able to go make the play. So as the DB getting the interception, you know if you can break that plane, you can get past that level, it might be to the house. It might be to the crib. Lucky that wasn't a pick six if you're on offense.
And one of the things you're taught as a defensive guy, when you're trying to strip the football, you've got to secure the tackle with one hand, try to get the football with the other. They're not securing the tackle. I get it. They're trying to go for the fumble, but they got to do a better job executing.
The Gators trying to pay off the threat on 1st and goal. Able to pick his way forward for a decent game before the defense gets him down. Now on 2nd and goal. Quarterback run is part of their game plan. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. The clock winds down to the 2-minute timeout, and this offense will try to drain away the time and secure the victory. They love to make this short field pay off with a touchdown instead of a field goal. The Sneak scores it!
And, you know, late in the games, offenses sometimes get conservative when they got the lead and they got the ball. I love this offense. They were aggressive. They got another score added to the lead. Now you're trying to salt this game away.
And the extra point extends the lead to double figures at 10. They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. They'd love to put a long drive together here as they start from their own 21. To the air, it's Mendoza. He wants a big play here late. And that'll be incomplete, man. That would have been a big hitter on 1st down, but 2nd down's coming up.
I understand the sense of urgency for the offense now because you're trailing here by a lot in the 4th quarter. You're just trying to take a shot to see if you can get on the board and get some of this momentum back. But the problem is the defense understands that, so they're playing coverage, and they're doing a good job on the back end. Nice job forcing the incompletion.
Wide open downfield. Good call, good execution as they move the chains, and they have a 1st down at the 38. Defense playing a bail technique. Looking to throw on 1st down. Extending the play. And he will wisely throw it to the kid playing the tuba.
Oh, quarterback off target on that one. And in this 2-minute situation, you've got to be able to call and run passing plays that you feel like you can run in your sleep.
They'll spread the defense out, going 5 wide on 2nd and 10. Unloads to the right. Lost the defense, he's wide open. A huge play there, and they finally get him out of bounds at the 37. And the Hoosiers are in the hurry-up. To the air on 1st down. Fires to the wideout. Got his man downfield. Shoved out of bounds. They'll mark him down at the 15-yard line, and this offense is doing work.
And there's no quit in this team. Obviously, they're trailing late in the game, but they're trying to make it happen. We've seen 2 big plays now, back-to-back. They're putting pressure on this defense.
Trying to cap this drive with the pass. And with the completion out to the sideline, they'll pick up a couple. He'll be run out of bounds, but we've got laundry on the field. Let's see what that's about. That offensive line grabbing and holding on, and they'll back up and try it again. Offense set on first down. Back to throw, it's Mendoza. Lets it fly deep downfield. And it'll be intercepted in the end zone. Picked up a few extra on that return, but what a play by this defense to get the football.
Well, man, we've seen explosive offensive firepower all game long, and here we are late in an obvious passing situation trying to get this thing close. The big INT, finally the defense makes a play, and David, it looks like they just closed the door on this one.
Well, and you know, Mr. Quarterback, defense wins championships. And how do you seal a game? The defense coming up with a big moment. Yes, obvious passing situation. You know they're going to throw it. The big INT, and that might seal their fate.
What will they dial up on second and a long way to go? He might want another play. The handoff, keep working on that clock. Got enough for the first. Now they've got even more breathing room out to the 31 and a fresh set of downs. They'll send the back in motion. Wants to throw on first down. Incomplete and very lucky that one wasn't picked off. And man, could they have used that? It'll be second down.
Man, is that the opportunity they needed? That is exactly what this defense needed. They need to swing momentum. They needed to get the ball back to their offense if they wanted to win this football game. Just such a huge missed opportunity.
Looking to take a shot. This will be picked off. Maybe just the turning point they needed. And a big return after the INT sets up the offense for this possession.
Let's go. Talk about having one foot in the grave. This was almost over. They're up by 2 possessions in the fourth quarter, and they got the football. Thank goodness they're choosing to throw the football.
Looking for the end zone. And that one is right on target if his target was the first row.
Oftentimes as a quarterback, when you have success early, you earn the right to take more shots. I think that's what you're seeing now in this game. We're here late. We're still throwing it deep because this quarterback's thrown 3 touchdown passes. He's proven to his coach that he can get it done and he can make the right decisions and not put his offense in harm's way. And that's why you're still seeing them throw it vertically downfield.
This crowd unhinged, trying to make sure the Gators don't back down on third down. It's broken up and almost intercepted in the end zone. It'll be fourth down. It's fourth down, and they can make the field goal from here, but it looks as if they're going to leave the offense out there. Complete out of the backfield, looking for the sticks. And the first guy couldn't get him, but the second one does, but not until he picks up the first down. Really good job there. Don't force anything. Take your time, and he finds his man for the first down.
Yeah, and I think really good job by seeing the defense. Understand that they're dropping back. They're taking away most things.
He got it. Still on his feet. And he will score. Touchdown, Hoosiers.
It's not over yet. There's still a little bit of time on the clock. Obviously, that score gives you a chance, but man, oh man, do you need some miracles to happen some way to get this football back and do some damage with it.
And he tacks on the extra point. Here's the situation. First, they have to recover the onside kick, then maybe time for a play or two. That's why they call them the hands team. They're able to secure the onside kick.
Yeah, and this is why you put your hands team on the field most of the time, when you know it's coming, and you put those guys that are great catchers of the football. The first guys, what do? They go block. They go blow somebody up. The next guys catch the football, secure it, get your butt on the ground. And most of the time when you do this, the ball game is over.
Couldn't ask for better starting field position for this offense. A designed run for the quarterback. Picks up the first down. And how much running room have they been able to find just all day? They are piling up unbelievable rushing stats. They ripped off a huge chunk, and now a little chunk is needed to pay it off. On the move. And a short run there, and that'll end it. How much fun was that? I mean, you just dream of having games like that every time you go into the booth. I'll watch those two teams play anytime.
Yeah, that's what's fun about good teams. Really good teams squaring off. Like, there wasn't a lot of difference between these two squads. We could watch these every week. Love calling these games because they're competitive. Great talent on the field. Palmer, unfortunately, somebody had to lose.
Yeah, and the higher-ranked team was ranked higher for a reason. At the end of the day, when it came down to it, they made the biggest plays in the most critical moments. Both of these teams have tremendous playmakers, and they're both going to make a lot of noise late in the college football season, but give the higher-ranked team tons of credit. They earned this one.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.